KUPD. I have Corey Taylor here in the studio talking about thematically about the music of Slipknot. It's like there are a lot of really sort of grim and nihilistic images portrayed in the music. And, I kind of wonder, is it to like the shock and awe thing? Are you trying to share like some sort of experience, like a war correspondent going like, someone can show you photos of Rwanda and you go, God, that is terrible. But it's not gratuitous. I mean, some of the real frightening images of Slipknot. I mean, you're doing that to shock. You're doing that to bear witness to the things that have happened in your life.
No, it's art, man. It's all art. You know, I mean, it's expression at the end of the day. You know, I mean, that's why we distance ourselves from a lot of these quote unquote shock rock bands. It's because there's so much content in what we do. There's so much going on with what we do. And I mean, everything comes from a very specific point. We don't do it to shock. We don't do it for the awe. We do it because it's a piece of what this band does.
Right.
And you were talking about the dark, kind of nihilistic, the music and whatever. But the thing that a lot of people miss is that whether it's lyrically or musically, I always put a silver lining at the end of it. There's always some sort of positivity in this song, whether it's I'm going through this, but I'm going to be okay, or this happened to me and this is what I took from it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that there's always the other side of the coin to that. And because I will not allow someone to be down about something that happened to them. I hang out with a lot of the kids that come to our shows, and they tell me about high school, and obviously we all know how high school was, but it's like 3 times worse now. I mean, the things that these kids have to go through are brutal, and the thing that I tell them the most is that this is just one stop in your life. Do not define yourself by what happens now. Define yourself by what you do after high school. If you can get through it, you will be okay.
Right.
And that's really kind of conceptually, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, if you can get through this, you will be okay. Honestly, I mean, you're going to have to take some lumps in life, but if you can get through it and process it and still be the same person, then you'll be okay. And that's what I'm talking about.
Listening to a lot of the music, it's like I think of like the character. There's like a protagonist of the Slipknot song, because the songs are sung in sort of the first person perspective. I do this, I do that.
I mean, a lot of the stuff is really what comes from me. So
I was going to ask,
so absolutely.
Is it 8? Is it Corey? So it's you.
It's
the protagonist is you.
Yeah, it's a part of where I came. I mean, there's obviously something that I can tap into about the stuff that I went through when I was a kid. And the stuff that I continue to go through as an adult. I mean, it's how you handle it. It all comes down to how you handle it. I mean, a person with the same background as myself, same history, same childhood, could go on to be, to abuse women, to, I mean, just to be a real douche.
Oh, completely.
Life.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's how you handle it. I mean, I grew up with a lot of abuse around me. I grew up very poor. I spent the better part of my life homeless. And because I didn't just say, okay, I don't need to try, I kept going, and now I'm here. So it's how you handle it. A lot of people define themselves by what happened to them. And you should never do that. You should only define yourself by how you want to be. And that's, if you can do that, you can be okay.